Hi friends, Allie here. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to crochet these little leaves. So a while ago, someone commented on one of my crochet pumpkin videos asking if I had a leaf pattern to go with my pumpkins. And I didn't, but I did have this little leaf pattern in my apple tutorial from years ago. So I linked them there, and I was planning on making a new video for this tiny little leaf showing you could use it for any fruit patterns or really any other project you wanted. But I realized that this tiny little leaf looked really good on little fruits, but it was a little bit too small for the larger ones like a large pumpkin. So I decided to make this simple leaf pattern 3 ways so you have more options and sizes to best fit whatever project you are making. So I will be showing you how to make this little leaf. I'll be calling it a half leaf because we'll only be working on one half of the chain. And then we'll make a full leaf with no stem, which will work great for adding to your crochet pumpkins or other projects. Then we have a full leaf with a stem, which I think would be great to use as an appliqué, so you can sew it onto other projects, or you can make a bunch of them and strand them together to make a garland, which would be fun for some fall decor. You can use any colors you want for these leaves. They work up so quick and use very little yarn, so this is a great project for those random strands of yarn you may have lying around. If you want to follow along with the free written pattern, you can find it on my blog, theturtletrunk.com, or you can buy the ad-free printable PDF from my Etsy shop or on Ravelry. I'll leave links to all of those down below. So if you're ready to get started, let's head over to our supply list and let's get making. For today's tutorial, you will need medium 4-weight yarn. You can use any color you'd like. I used I Love This yarn in the color Light Sage, and you'll need approximately 2 yards of yarn per leaf. You'll also need a 4mm or G hook, scissors, and a yarn needle. We're going to start with our half leaf first, so we're going to begin by making a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 6. Then for row 1, we're going to work back down our chain. So starting in the second chain from the hook, we're going to work a slip stitch. Then in the next chain, we're going to work a single crochet, then a half double crochet into the next chain, and a double crochet into the next chain. So you should have 1 chain remaining at the end there. And in that last chain, we are going to work 3 double crochets. Then we are going to chain 3 and then slip stitch back into that last chain. And there we have our half leaf. So now you can tie off your yarn, leave enough of a tail that you can weave it in, or you can even leave your ends out if you're going to be tying it onto something. But I'm going to weave my ends in, and I'm going to use one of my ends to kind of close up that hole that was left from that last chain. So I'll show you how to do that. So grab your yarn needle and we will weave in our ends. So if you turn your leaf around, you can see all the stitches that we worked into that last chain. I'm just going to work my end around the bottom of each of those stitches. So just work your needle all the way around, and then you should be able to pull on that strand and it will close up that hole a little bit. I'm just going to weave in my end going the opposite way now just to secure it really well so it won't fall out. And then with my other end, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to work in the opposite direction. So here we have our little half leaf. So this is perfect for small fruits like little pumpkins or little apples. You can really use it for whatever you want, any fruits or veggies, or even use it as a garland or an appliqué. You can sew it on other projects. And there we go. So now let's move on to our full leaf with no stem. So this is going to start just like our half leaf. So we're going to begin with a slip knot on our hook. And then chain 6. Then working back down our chain, we are going to work a slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, single crochet into the next chain, half double crochet into the next chain, double crochet into the next chain, and then in the very last chain, we are going to work 8 double crochets. Here in the video, you're going to see me only do 6, but I decided after recording this video that I wanted to do 8 instead because my leaf end kept curling in. So I just added 2 more double crochets to do 8 double crochets, and I found that it sat flatter and it just looked a lot better. So do 8 double crochets, not the 6 like I did here. Now we're going to be working on the opposite side of the leaf. So we're going to turn our leaf clockwise, and now working on the other side of those chains, we are going to work a double crochet into the next chain, then a half double crochet into the next one, single crochet into the next one, then a slip stitch into the last chain. And now to give the leaf a pointed end, we're going to chain 2, and then slip stitch into the first slip stitch that we worked for our leaf. So there is our leaf with no stem. So now we can tie off our yarn. And then weave our ends in on the back side. So just like we did with our half leaf, I'm going to use the one where that little hole is. I'm going to weave it around the bottom of those stitches on the back side to kind of close up that hole a little bit. So grab your yarn needle and we'll weave in all of our ends. So I'm just going to work clockwise around the back of those stitches on the bottom there. And you see, as you work around and pull on your end, it's going to close up that hole. So there you can see it close up that hole a little bit. And now I'm going to weave in my other end. And there we have our full leaf with no stem. And now we will move on to our full leaf with a stem. So for our full leaf with a stem, it's going to start off the same as our other two. You're going to start with a slip knot on your hook and then chain 6. Then working back down our chain, we are going to work a slip stitch in the second chain from the hook. Then single crochet into the next chain. Half double crochet into the next chain. Double crochet into the next chain, and then into the last chain you are going to work 4 double crochets, and now we're going to create the stem of our leaf. So I am going to chain 3. Now this chain is going to determine the length of your stem, so you can do more or less chains if you want. I'm going to do 3 for a short stem, but feel free to do as many as you want. Now working back into that chain, I'm going to slip stitch in the second chain from the hook and slip stitch into the next chain. So there we have our little stem. Now working back into the last chain from our foundation chain, we are going to work 4 more double crochets. So there is our leaf so far. So now we're going to be working on the opposite side of our foundation chain. In that first chain, we are going to work a double crochet. Then we're going to work a half double crochet into the next chain. Then a single crochet into the next chain, and then a slip stitch into the last chain. Then to give our leaf a pointed tip, we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch into the very first slip stitch we worked for our leaf. Then we can tie off our yarn. And weave in all of our ends on the back side. So just like we did with our other 2 leaves, I'm going to take the one and by the hole where we worked all those double crochets, just going to try and close up that hole a little bit. So I'm just going to work my end all the way around the bottom of those stitches on the back side. And as you pull on your end, it should close up that hole. So just weave in all of our ends, and then we are done with our leaf with stem. And here we have our last little leaf. So this would be great as an applique, so you can sew it onto anything, or even strand a bunch of them together to make a fall garland. So here is all 3 of our little leaves. And here are all the other ones I've made in all these fun fall colors. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're looking for some pumpkin patterns to add these leaves to, I'll link all my crochet pumpkin videos down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.